out of St. Louis in their lights on the right of your screen. We're in Game 2 of the President's Day Cup here in Bloomington, Minnesota. And the rec center. We're at the indoor rink today, the smaller of the arenas. Same size ice, nice quaint little indoor rink, in great shape, nice cozy temp inside.
It's loud.
It is noisy.
It is a little loud. But overall, yeah, this is a nice place to play hockey.
Mavericks coming off a strong win yesterday.
Yeah, they beat the Atlanta Center Ice team 8-3 in an outdoor game. If you missed it, it was a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to be a part of being outside. The weather here has been unseasonably mild, and that made being outside fairly pleasant. We could have come up here a couple of weeks ago during the polar plunge and really been in tough shape, but it was a nice night and a great win by the Junior Mavericks, who got 2 goals from Charlie Patera and 2 goals from Paxton Schneider in that win.
Meremec currently in the second place position in the standings, right below Omaha Mavericks because of a goal differential. Having that big strong win, the more goals, the higher the ranking. So not only do you have to win, but you got to run away with these wins on some of these tournaments just to differentiate yourself from a team with the same record as you. So Meremec, undefeated just like the Mavericks, currently in second spot, and looking like a evenly sized team to the Omaha Jr Mavericks. I can't remember who they won against. They beat.
Yeah, just looking that up here. Let's see here. Bear with me.
Mavericks.
So yeah, the standings, Matt. Omaha and Meremec have only played 1 game. This is their second game of the tournament. Everybody else has played 2 games. There are 5 teams in this Bantam bracket. So right now, these 2 teams are the top 2 teams, and by virtue of goal differential, Omaha is listed at top, having won by 5 goals. Meremec won by 3 in their first game. And their first game was against the Chicago Blues, a 5-2 victory yesterday. And so, yeah, somebody is going to likely come from here with their first loss, but it's Omaha and Meremec at 1-0. Minnetonka is 1-1, Atlanta Center Ice 1-1, and the Chicago Blues are 0-2.
Omaha and Meremec are currently the only undefeated teams after 1 game of play. Some teams have 2 games, and these are still the only 2 that are undefeated. So if you didn't get a chance to hear yesterday, a little bit of a variation in the goalie rotation from what we see our standard back and forth between Rosie and the Beast. Coaches advised us that they're going to do 2 and 2. So Rosie is going to get games 1 and games 2. We'll see Rosie again for this game 2. And then Beast will get the next 2 games after that.
That gives each guy a chance to play on the outdoor ice, which is an experience and a fun one at that.
Beautiful outdoor rink here.
Yeah, it really is nice.
A 3-rink facility here in Bloomington, Minnesota.
And we'll be on all of those
Did we
sheets.
Play on rink 2? Okay.
Yep.
The rink 2 on the other side of us had a lot of high school hockey activity yesterday, and is probably double the capacity of a crowd.
Oh, at least, yeah.
That this rink has. We've got just 3 rows of bleachers on one side of this ice, and the other rink on the other side probably has double to triple that capacity for the high schoolers and 18U kids that were playing over there yesterday. And then the outdoor rink has nice capacity and a beautiful massed timber roof and canopy with open walls and fire pits and quite the ambiance.
It's like a hoedown out there.
War cries from each bench as T-Squared, Allers, and Heater take center ice for the opening face-off with Keeney and the Bear behind them, and of course Rosie between the pipes. A fresh 13 goes on the clock for the mark of period 1 of game 2. Puck drop, kick back to Meremec. Meremec Tosses one into Mavericks territory. Bear collects it. Circles behind his own net. Bear gaining momentum around the horn. Now coming out of his zone. He's got a man ahead of him, but he's going to carry it just inside the zone. Get pinched at the short wall. Meremec pops it back out. Allers picks up for Bear. Turns the direction and gains offensive territory. This time it's Heater, making his way to the slot. A backhand through the crease, goes to the other corner. T-Squared hustles to it on the short wall, pushes it back to Keeney. Keeney lines up, soft toss to the slot, bounces over two players' sticks. Then Heater sauces it back out to Bear. Bear gets robbed at the blue line. Meremec working their way slowly through the neutral zone. Centering pass. Turned over to Keeney. Keeney to the Bear. Nice cross ice to T-Square. T-Square hustling to it deep in Meremec territory. Uses his skates to turn it over. Puts it up the boards to Stoney. Fires from the Bear. Rebound by Sturba, and Mavericks are 1-0. Stoney from the short wall feeds Sturba in the middle, and Sturba has a large empty net to put the Mavericks up 1-0 here. 11:55 left in the first period.
Boy, that was just a pretty play. I mean, and you know what, Matt? That's why they were so successful yesterday against Atlanta. It was the passing. They were using each other. They were working together, and that's just a perfect example of what happens when you play for each other and play together.
Well, even T-Squared was hard on the forecheck, used his skates to create the turnover in the corner and feed it up the short wall to Stoney. And, I mean, it all started with that turnover with T-Squared.
Right.
And way to go, Sturba, playing position and just crashing the net, even though the puck was along the board. So you nailed it, Dave. Good positioning is where good gameplay is at.
Hopefully the official score will be as generous on the assists as I was, because that was T-Squared to Stoney to Sturbs for the goal.
Nailed it. So Sturba, Stoney, they lost their goalie?
Yeah, their goalie.
Oh,
their goalie.
No.
They only had one goalie, and I'm not sure what happened on the play.
Is Beast going to go play for him? Beast is...
No, they're going to play with an extra guy.
Beast is gearing up, though. Beast is putting his gloves on and grabbing his stick. So we're going to loan him a goalie because their goalie was just injured. Oh, no!
So
I hope he's all right.
well, a nice round of applause for the Meremec
Their goalie.
fans.
We were just informed that the Meremec goalie had a groin injury in last night's game. So Omaha has graciously loaned the Meremec Sharks the Beast so that we can finish this game. What a terrific sportsmanship.
Well, the alternative is playing with 6 and an empty net.
Yeah.
And that's not a good. That game could get out of hand quickly.
Round of applause from both sides of the stands here as the Beast. Woo! Beast will get some hours in the crease here. Here we go. Love to see it. Love to see it. Hopefully their goalie will be all right. A groin injury.
Yeah.
And an early goal that's costly, and hopefully they can have a nice, friendly, strong game here with...
Yeah, that goal is just a minute and 5 seconds into the game. Omaha with both shots on goal so far in this one.
Meremec played strong here. They had the puck in both ends of the ice, so this could be some good competition regardless.
Bennett was egging on Beast for a goalie fight. We've seen a few of those in the NHL the last couple of weeks, and those are rare. Let's put it that way.
Well, these two go at each other pretty good in practice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun, teenage aggressive mischief going on at practice between the Beast and Rosie. Love to see it. It's almost like a sibling rivalry.
Yeah, Rosie likes to keep it loose. I know he and my son Will, they go at each other from time to time. A lot of chirping, and I mean, are they gonna? What are we doing here? Now they're bringing Beast back over. Are they gonna referees maybe are trying to determine with the tournament coordinator if is it legal, or what are the results going to be here of this conversation with the referees? Only if we were a fly on the wall.
Well, they're not going to let them do it, are they?
Oh, well, that's too bad.
They're not going to let them do it.
So Meremec's going to have to play with 6 attackers for the balance of this game, which, folks, is just 1 minute and 5 seconds old.
Oh, are they going to get their goalie? No. Take some laps and keep their legs warm, or what's going on? Is it a forfeit?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh no. What is happening?
I'm wondering, are they trying to secure a goaltender from another one of the teams?
Stay warm, do some laps.
Keep Easton from having to play against his own team, which is obviously a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I mean, if we lost to Meremec with Beast in the net, we'd feel pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Why'd you have to play so well?
So we're going to have a pause on the game.
Geez, I hope they're not going for a shooter-tutor for the other end.
Oh my gosh, please no.
Well, and here's the question. One young man just went off to the dressing room. Is he going to suit up in his goalie's gear and give it a go? I'm guessing that may be the only remedy to this situation.
Could be.
But yeah, from what one of the moms said, just for those of you who are just joining us, apparently their goaltender, and they only have one, their goaltender pulled his groin in the first game yesterday. And because of that, didn't come into this game 100%, and apparently re-injured it right there in that on that very first shot.
Since we have a minute, we're going to pause for station identification. And we're going to send a great big thank you out to Nebraska Electric Power Sports. They have dirt bikes for all ages, and you can experience the future of electric dirt bikes because they sell fun. Thank you for your support of the OMA Jr Mavericks, Nebraska Electric Power Sports. Also, thank you, Joe Chalin Check Tax Service, and all of the support that you give the Omaha Junior Mavericks, as well as Charleston Homes, voted #1 Best of Omaha in 2025, been providing home building experiences since 2007 in Omaha, Nebraska. And thank you, Cottonwood Salon Suites. Aunt Jessie, for all you do, far beyond just your sponsorship.
She cuts a lot of hair for the boys. I don't know how many guys go there. I know my son does, and there are a number of other kids who go there as well on the team. So Aunt Jessie's keeping the boys well coiffed.
The flow, the lettuce, as they call it.
You gotta have the good flow, the good lettuce.
So we're currently in a game pause. The boys are squaring up for some stretching and some staying warm. What we are led to believe is that a backup goalie for the Meremec Sharks is getting suited up as a backup because the Meremec Shark goaltender was injured in yesterday's game and just suffered a little worse injury in the first goal of the game. So the teams are squaring up in front of each other and just kind of getting some friendly stretching and warm-ups in because it's turned into an intense tournament competition to a friendly gameplay.
I will tell you, Matt, seeing this as folks are watching on their stream, and this is nothing against all of the parents and the other folks who lend their efforts to coaching and organizing these tournaments and everything like that. This is what happens when the kids take over. Yep. This is what happens when the kids take over because it's a game, it's fun, it's kids just like them on the other side of the puck, and this is a real nice display of sportsmanship between these two teams. We've not played Meremec this year, haven't seen them until now, and this is just a lot of fun. Watch the parents. Everybody goes for their phones and starts taking pictures of that little impromptu stretch at center ice.
This is why you love the game of hockey. The competitiveness is high, but the sportsmanship is just as high. The
Guys will fight tooth and nail and then, you know, hang out afterward and have a beer and, well, not these guys, but the older guys. The older guys will have a beer.
And trade stories of how they lost their teeth.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're, as we settle in a little bit of a pause here, but it looks like we do have a goaltender now.
Here comes a dark jersey goalie entering the Sharks bench. Stick taps and round of applause.
Yep, here we go.
As Meremec gains a backup goalie who's likely a player from the team.
Young man to take one for the team, as it were.
He's even got goalie skates, so that's a good start.
Must have the same size as his goalie. Got a chance to use those. Well, you got to get used to that. If you're not used to that, the hollow is different on goalie skates. So
hollow, the shape of the blade is a little bit different.
The boot's going to feel different. It's going to be a little beefier.
There's a lot of technique and style and muscle that comes to being a goalie that a lot of people that's very overlooked.
Well, and for the Mavericks, tell you what, if you're the Mavericks, just keep playing the way you play it. Don't take your foot off the gas. Play the game the way you play it, and that's the only way you can do it.
Pucks on net. It's a tournament, and we wanted to win, so just pucks on net, really. So, Sturba, Tremaine, and who do we got on offense?
Stoney's down there, helping him with shots on goal.
Stoney's down there, thanking the goalie so that they can all play hockey and have a friendly game. Sturba, Stoney, and Tremaine still out here. Sturba with the first goal. The feed from T-Squared and Stoney. So we're going to continue this game with 11:55 left in the first. They're about to drop the puck here for the second time after a pause and a goalie change. Ike and the boss out on defense. Rosie remains between our pipes. Puck drops. A swat back into Omaha's territory. Ike will hustle back to it. Go behind his goal line. Circle behind his net. Bring it up the wall to Tremaine. Tremaine goes cross ice to the boss. Boss can't quite catch up to it. Turned over and remains in Omaha territory. Ike resets, circles, and pauses behind his own net. Cross through the middle. Stirred up by the Sharks once again. Sharks pick it up behind Mavericks. Boston picks his pocket. Boston will turn on the gas, and he's going to burn all the way through the neutral zone. Gets the puck into Sharks territory. Sturba pulls it off the wall. Shot! Saved to the wall. From behind. Wyatt gets the puck tapped off of his tape. Sharks feed it out of their territory, and Fleming will pick it up now in neutral zone. Fleming sidesteps one, charges back into territory, just offside. Stoney couldn't quite clear in time.
Stoney, one extra blade in there. Well, the young man's warmed up now. He's made a shot on goal.
First shot on goal. Sturba with 2 shots on goal now. One of them's a goal. Taz, Pax, Courtright out there on offense now. Fleming and Nandor on D. Cross ice pass. Pax couldn't get to it fast enough. Stalls out in front of the Sharks bench. Sharks batted into Omaha territory. Taz is the first one to it. From the top of his circle, board pass out of the zone. Loose to center ice. Sharks stall out at the Mavs blue line and then regain control. Shot from the board. Cross Rosie's nose to the other short wall in Mavs territory. Jumbled up by Taz at the blue line. Fleming up to Courtright. Courtright one-on-one. Top of the circle. Gets it batted off of his tape. Goalie will make another save for the Sharks. 1-0. Mavs in the lead. 10:21 left in the first period. We've got a substitute goalie for the Sharks in here after a goalie injury right off the bat for the Sharks. So more of a friendly type game this has turned into. Jack Davis, Allers, Patera. Patera circles behind Sharks net. From the short wall, goes cross ice to Keeney. Keeney, top of the circle, back to Patera. Fires, bounces, goalie save. Almost looked like a first baseman catch there. Circled to tag a man out. I don't know if he...
around like he didn't know he had it, but he did. He had
nonetheless, another save, a shot that got semi-deflected from Patera. freezes the puck, we'll have another Sharks territory face-off. We got the Bear and Keeney on defense, backing up Patera, Allers, Jack Davis. Allers bats it deep behind the Sharks goal line. Sharks trying to work their way up the boards. Pinched at the short wall with Allers and Davis momentarily. Pops out to the slot. Sharks with a little soft pass out of the zone. This one likely an icing, and it will be. Stopping the clock at 9:49 left in the first. 1-0 Mavs in the lead. Fresh legs take the ice for the Mavs here. Stoney comes back out with Heater and T-squared.
Oh man, you mentioned this is a friendly game, but I'm sure the message on the bench has been, okay, the distraction's over. Let's play the game.
Ike and Boss backing them up. Mavs slowly getting back to business. Puck drop in Sharks territory. Heater back to Ike. Ike to T-squared. Mishandles his first one-timer. Goes to collect it in the corner. Some quick hands to avoid an attacker. Gives himself some space. Back to the Boss. Boss mishandles his one-timer. T-squared couldn't quite keep it in. Sharks break into Omaha territory. Boss pinches his man on the short wall. T-squared comes down deep to help. T-squared helps get it out of the zone. Stalls out a little bit at the blue line. Regains control. Pushes it back to Ike. Ike takes a look. Cross ice to Stoney. Stoney runs into traffic quickly at the blue line. Heater comes cross ice to help. Sharks bat it out in the neutral zone. A bouncing puck goes back and forth here in the neutral zone before Sharks gain territory. Nice shoulder-to-shoulder from Boss. Creates a turnover, but Sharks bat it at Rosie. Rosie easily kicks that one to the side. T-squared sauces it up ice to Heater. A puck race into Shark territory. Heater gets there first. Got a man quickly on him. Hits the brakes, gives some space. Hits Schneider. Schneider from the dot. Fires, save! Rebound goes back out of the circle. Sharks try to feed the middle. Lost control. Over to Ike. Ike on his blue lines. Got a man pinching him to the glass. Gets through two attackers, pulling it off the boards. Pushes it gently ahead to Fleming. Fleming, top of the circle. Now the dot. Fires. Big save again. Fed back out to the middle. Gets through attackers to Schneider. Schneider dumps it back in deep. Puck ringing around the horn. Sturba trying to fend off his man as he's getting attacked from behind. Puck coming up the short wall. Schneider will help keep the puck behind the goal line. Sharks using their body to keep Mavericks from gaining control as it was deep in their zone and then cleared all the way down on net. Rosie will have to make a full ice shot save, push it behind his net. Fleming bobbled control a little bit, tried to get it to Sturba, mishandled the pass, loose to Sharks at the center ice, and they dump and chase. Schneider's going to get there first. Tried to hit the brakes, ends up pinching at the short wall. Up comes Tremaine. Gets it over to Sturba. Sturba works his way to the red line, then clears it in, goes for the change. Mavericks dump and change. Sharks get the puck deep in their own territory. Trying to work it out of the zone, but Allers is quick to it. Taz and Allers keeping the puck in Shark territory. Taz gets finally control of some bouncing puck there at the short wall. Nandor tries to pinch, but Sharks get it out of their zone. Nandor back to Bear. Bear, nice board pass up the court right. Bounces off of his tape. He's got a skating lane, but lots of attackers. They nudge him off the puck, pinch him deep behind the goal line. Taz, nice hustle. Puck comes up the short wall to Keeney. Keeney's shot gets deflected by some legs, picked up by Sharks. Turned over by Allers at the blue line. Loose into the slot, batted out of the zone by Sharks. Keeney picks up at neutral zone. Over to the Bear. Bear's got a skating lane. Top of the circle, fires, big glove save! The Sharks backup goalie getting a loud cheer and a round of applause for making a big glove save, which is a dangerous one. He actually moved his body to the side and used his glove in an Olay technique. So you can tell he's an inexperienced goalie, but nonetheless, a brilliant save. Big shot by Bear off the faceoff again, and another big stick save.
Oh, his confidence, the goaltender's confidence, has to be really growing here with every save he's able to make.
Looked like an offsides there as the Mavs entered the zone, so we'll have a clock stoppage at 6:18 for an offsides on the Mavs. We'll have a neutral zone faceoff. 1-0 Mavs in the lead. Patera, Stoney, and Jack Davis on the offense for Bear and Keeney on defense. Face-off win by Mavs. Bear to Keeney. Keeney soft tap into the zone. Sharks break out, get into offensive territory. A shot towards the net goes behind. Keeney forced to collect in the corner. A turnover by Mavs. A loose skater at the slot. Rosie makes a big save. Keeney pop flies it out to Jack Davis. Jack Davis using a board pass to get it moved along. Continues to poke check.
Good job, Jack.
Turned over. Jack Davis. Shot and score! Jack Davis just poke checking and pitchforking his way through the neutral zone. Ended up getting a loose puck in the circle and firing a hard wrister in the top shelf to make the Mavs 2-0. I'm going to say that's Bear to Jack for that assist to score. 5:45 left in the first period, 2-0.
Great shot by Jack.
Yes, it was. Schneider tries to chase his own face-off win. Sharks bat it back to the boss. Ike steps up to get the loose puck. Ike runs into a skater. Peter takes over from the boards. Poke check, but regains control. Can't quite get his pass off. Boss fires it back to the slot. T-squared stick handles past one. Too much traffic. Peter can't get his puck through traffic either. Loose puck to the corner. Corner battle starts to happen here. Peter couldn't quite thread, or T-square couldn't quite thread the needle. Boss, nice turnover. Poke check. T-square gets it in the zone. Fires one that was going over the net. Goalie makes a nice glove save over his head. Freeze the play. 5:03 left in the first period. The boss and Ike out there on defense will have another face-off drop in Shark territory with Sturba and Allers and Tremaine. Puck drop. Allers wins it clean back to Boss. Fires just wide of the net. Ike's going to step up from the blue line. Handles it to the dot. Backhand it and a score. Did Tremaine get a stick on it? I think it was Ike with a backhand. Tremaine was there though, so I'm going to say that's Boss to Ike for goal number 3 in the first period for the Omaha Mavericks, 3-0. 4:53 left in the first period. If you hadn't heard, Meremec Sharks lost their starting goalie. They've got a substitute player that has put on the goalie gear. So we're kind of gotten to a friendly game of hockey here because of the unfortunate turn of events for the Meremec Sharks. Puck goes into Shark territory briefly off the face-off win. Boss circles in his own territory. Got a nice cross-ice pass to Sturb. Sturb backhanded it ahead. Intercepted by Sharks out of the zone. Allers tried to rifle it back in. Got deflected, so the puck will remain in the neutral zone for a moment. So the boys go back and forth, and then Allers picks it up and carried it in this time. Allers pinched to the corner. Puck drifts behind the net and then gets rifled hard along the boards. All the way down and out of the zone. That one's going to be an ice.
Waved it off.
They wave it off because it touched the player, so Fleming will pick it up, and he's going to gain some speed out of the zone. Line change for the Mavericks. Fleming, territory from the dot, fire, scores. Coast to coast. Will Fleming goes from behind his own net and put one on the ice past the substitute goalie, now making the Mavericks 4-0 with 3:57 left in the game. Unfortunate turn of events.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't get too out of control, but boys know this is just a friendly game at this point, just due to the unfortunate circumstance of goalie injury.
3:57 to go here in the first period.
Got it in. Meremec does a good job of batting it quickly out of the zone. Cross-ice pass from Fleming to Nandor. Nandor steps up, and he gets off sides as Taz and Courtright were quickly attacking the offensive zone with him.
Matt, I think given the extenuating circumstances, the coaches are probably trying to reinforce with the guys, do things the way we practice them. Do things the right way. Don't try to everybody go out and get their goal. We still need to play the game the right way because the next teams that we play are not going to be in the same situation. We're going to face good goalies, and we need to have our structure, and that needs to be consistent.
As much as this is a friendly scrimmage, it's still a tournament that we want to win.
Right. And goal differential could be, big after the pool play. When you start determining who's going to play for that championship, because everybody plays 4 games in the pool play, and then the top 2 teams play for the championship. That's it.
Face off in Shark territory. Nandor couldn't quite keep it in the zone as he fed it over to Fleming, so Mavericks clear. Taz gets it on the blue line, dumps it in deep. He'll hustle to it in a sword fight behind the net. Scott Courtright comes out from behind the net. Goal line, Dot sauces it, bounces over Stoney's stick and skate, goes to Sharks. Now Sharks push it ahead, turned over by Fleming. Fleming, board pass up to Taz. Mishandled the pass, bobbles it back into neutral zone. Stoney, nice use of the feet to stir up the pass. Jumbles it up before it gets into the zone and then loosely coasts back to Fleming in Omaha territory. Fleming will reset behind his own goal line. Loses it in his skates for a moment, working the puck up the short wall, tried to go cross ice off some skaters. Patera up to Stoney. Stoney gaining offensive territory. Forced to the wall, loose puck into the corner. Boom! Patera comes in.
Oh my goodness.
Muscled from behind, a little too aggressively.
Yeah, Charlie's going to go on that one.
Patera's going to go to the sin bin. He went in a little bit too hot and caught a player from behind.
Well, and the size difference between he and the Meremec player is just, it's very, very great.
Petite ponytailed player that just got bodied too hard from behind. That was a bad angle hit. 2:30 left in the first period. 4-0 Mavs in the lead. It's a first penalty of the game. Charlie Patera goes to the sin bin for a roughing call. Puck quickly comes out. Sauced back into the neutral zone. The offsides by Sharks will give us a neutral zone face-off this time. 5-on-4 power play for the Meremec Sharks. Oh, they're going to actually come to center ice for this one. So the shorthanded unit is Jack Davis and Paxton Schneider, with Keeney and the Bear out on defense. A little back and forth in the neutral zone off the face-off drop. Sharks bat it towards Mavs blue line. Keeney goes cross ice to Bear. Bear goes center into Davis. Jack Davis gains territory from the dot. A backhander saved by the goaltender. Sharks ringing around the horn. Now making their way through the neutral zone. Lots of Mavericks defenders back.
That's it.
Try to break to the middle. A poke check by Keeney. Loose puck goes deep into Mav territory. Bear picks it up behind his goal line. Got a couple attackers. Pushes it up to Jack. Jack goes cross ice. Schneider has to skate over to it. Mishandled the pass a little bit. Dodges a hit. Takes it into offensive territory.
Nice
passes
pass.
over to T-squared. T-squared behind the goal line. Avoiding attackers, circling out to the top of the slot. Hits the brakes, back to the top of the circle, fires, deflected into the corner. Short-handed, Sharks pick it up, push it out to the blue line, bounces over everybody's cape. This one's gonna wave off the icing call. Keeney's gonna circle behind his own net as Sharks get their line change. Schneider centers it to Allers. Allers making his way through the neutral zone. Lots of attackers in front of him. Loses control and Sharks bat it out. 25 seconds left in the power play for the Meremec Sharks. Sharks centering pass into Omaha territory. Easily taken away by Bear. Bear, nice push ahead to T-squared. T-squared. 3 attackers, shoots from outside, just wide of the net. Sharks pick it up. 5 seconds left in the power play for the Sharks. Forecheck by Allers keeps it in the offensive zone as Mavericks now full strength. Allers charging towards the net. A little bat down from the clouds from T-squared, and he's going to pick up a shot and bury it top shelf to put the Mavs up 5-0 as they just went full strength here with 21 seconds left in the first period. Allers to T-squared.
Yeah, I don't think Will's going to get a... He got kind of stripped of that one. That was sort of unassisted. Yeah, I know.
This is youth hockey.
I'm not going to hand out assists like they're party favors here, though.
Here we go.
No funny hats and horns. You got to earn that one.
Face-off drop here after the score. Center ice. Allers forced to the boards. Tried to center it to Heater. Mishandled the pass. Goes behind. Sharks bounce one out of the zone as the ticker expires here for the end of the first period. 5-0. Mavericks with a strong lead. Now, if you didn't hear, there's a backup goalie for the Meremec Sharks. because their starting goalie was injured in yesterday's game and
got hurt in the first goal.
Got hurt in the first minute and 3 seconds of this game. Thank you, Dave. So they geared up one of their players and doesn't even have. He's naked underneath his shorts behind his pads.
At least
see bare legs. He's too hot-blooded to put on anything further. He's doing a tremendous job.
Absolutely.
He's made a number of saves.
He really has.
You can tell he's not a starting goalie, but he's doing a great job of standing his ground and stopping shots as they come to the net.
Well, he's faced 14 shots. He's allowed 4 goals, which means he's made 10 saves.
Yeah.
So, and he's doing a terrific job as a guy who's not a goalie.
Kudos to the Sharks' backup goalie for not only just stepping up and playing the position, but making some saves. Yeah. I'm going to take an opportunity to thank Charleston Homes. Charleston Homes has been providing the best home building experience in Omaha since 2007, and we're going to thank them for their support of the Mavericks. We thank Cottonwood Salon and Suites and Aunt Jessie for all her support. Thank you, Grandpa Joe from Joe Chalin Tech Services for all your support of the Omaha Mavericks. And thank you, Nebraska Electric Power Sports, for selling fun in Omaha and supporting the Omaha Jr Mavericks. The buzzer sounds to mark the start of the second period. A fresh 13 goes on the clock. 5-0 Mavs in the lead, and they win the opening face-off and charge forward in the neutral zone, but then it's batted right back. Fleming forced to regroup in his own territory, and his hard pass makes it through a lot of tape. Stoney's forced to hustle to it deep in the Sharks' territory. Puck rings around the horn, makes its way out to Nandor at the blue line. Nandor goes cross ice to Fleming. Fleming through the slot. Couldn't quite find Sturba. Then Schneider tried to look for Stoney in the middle, and that one went wide of the net and goes behind. Rings around the horn. Fleming hit the brakes at the blue line, but then Sharks keep it in the neutral zone momentarily. Nice sauce backhand. Nandor has to step up to it. Intercepted by Sharks. Nandor's hard pass into the skates of Sturba. Deflects off. Sturba, nice job stepping up and regaining it to get offense. Turned over to Stoney. Stoney, top of the slot. Now the circle on the short wall. Hits the brakes. Marches back up towards the blue line. Changes direction again. Bottom of the circle. Feed to the middle. Too many skaters tie up Stoney. Or Taz. Chases the puck to the corner. Pops out to the middle. Sharks center it out to the ice. Fleming picks it up there. He'll regroup. Soft touch up to Courtright. Courtright gains offense. Nice backhand to Taz. Taz couldn't quite get his shot off. Loose puck to the corner. Courtright picks it up in the corner. Works his way out to Schneider. Schneider slot fires. Rebound to Taz. Courtright to Schneider to Taz will make the Mavs 6-0 with 11:20 left in the second period. A little bit of a runaway here. They're probably going to go to a running clock now that we've exceeded 5-goal differential.
And may only happen in the third period. I have to go back and look at the rules.
Face-off drop here. Goes back and forth in the neutral zone. Bear picks it up in his own end. Feeds it out of the zone. Courtright's first to it. He's got a skater to beat. Now he's got Taz behind him. Courtright lost his edge. Puck goes deep into Shark territory. Shark ringing around the short wall. Pinched off on the short wall by Patera. Patera stick handling from the boards. Soft backhand to Courtright. Courtright pushes it out to Keeney. Keeney gets attacked quickly. Pushes it up to Courtright back in the corner. He'll go in a corner battle. Meremec pops it up. Out into the neutral zone. Keeney will have to hustle to it. He's got an attacker on him. Keeney circling behind his net. Backhands it off the short wall to Patera. Patera gets bullied off the puck. Sharks bring it back the other way. Soft touch by Bear. Gets it coming back into the neutral zone. Keeney will hustle to it. Keeney gets past one, top of the circle. Mean Mug still in the skates at the dot. Trying to feed it to the slot. Patera, bouncing puck, comes back out to the top of the blue line. Patera is going to keep going to work on it to keep it in. Jack Davis is out there with him. Oh, there's loose puck, open net. Goalie come way out to play it. Patera is able to get an open netter as the goalie dangerously played the puck a little too far out of the crease and puts the Mavs up 7-0.
You know, Matt, obviously not having a full-time goalie for Meremec is a big detriment. The Mavericks continue to do things the right way. They're doing some great passing. They're really working hard. They're pursuing pucks, and they're doing a great job of back checking. So they're doing everything that the coaches have asked them to do.
Seeing a lot of passing here, Dave, and a lot of times that's coach's technique. When we start running away with games, they'll make the boys pass it twice before they can shoot it.
Yeah, at least.
Mavericks gain offensive territory. There's the pass to Patera down low, turned over behind Sharks' goal line. Sharks pass it out of their zone. Turned over again at center ice by Ike. Ike gains territory. He's turning. He realizes he can't shoot. So he passed it to Allers, and Allers made the shot. Have to pass at least once before they can shoot on goal. Sharks feed it out of the zone. Sharks make offensive territory. Boss turns it over. Boss has got a skating lane. 3-on-2. Boss buries one deep in the zone, bounces out to the short wall to Patera. Patera's got two attackers on him. Stick handling on the short wall, gliding into the corner, pushes it deep to Jack Davis. Jack fumbles it out to Ike. Ike had an attacker on him and bobbled it at the blue line, and that's an offside. We'll have a neutral zone face-off here with 8:57 left in the second period. 7-0, your Mavs in the lead against a handicapped Meremec Sharks who's got a player in goalie gear as their goaltender. Mavericks win the face-off, gain offensive territory. Heater to Stoney. Stoney fires. Big bobbled save by the goaltender. Puck behind the goal line of Sharks. Picked up by T-Square in the corner. T-Squared skating to it, wrapping around behind, changes direction behind. Heater goes to the middle. Can't quite find Stoney. Sharks will get it out of the zone. Sharks with it in Mavs territory. Quickly bullied off the puck by Fleming. Fleming on the short wall to Stoney, loses it in his feet. Nice job by Heater to catch Fleming. Fleming gets it over to Heater. Heater behind the goal line. Nice stick handling moves to get it over to T-Squared in the corner. Stick handles pass one over to the center slot. Goalie's going to make the save. Rebound gets kicked to the corner. Fleming pinches it at the blue line. Sharks pick it up and get it out of the zone. Nandor goes cross ice. Fleming's going to help out. A backhander comes back to Heater. Nice centering pass to T-Squared. Stick handles, resets. Gentle pass up to Stoney's feet. Stoney's forced to hit the brakes. Soft touch into offensive territory. Sharks get a hold of it quick. Fire it back out to neutral zone. T-Squared dumps it hard once it in that zone, forcing Sharks to retrieve. They're going to bounce it back out to red line though. Fleming's going to pitchfork this one gently inside the blue line. Sharks are going to bat it back to him. A little ping pong going on here in the neutral zone on the Sharks blue line. Finally bounces into Mavs territory. Sharks struggling to just maintain control of the puck. Mavs catch Sharks on an odd on a man change. 4-on-2 into the zone, and mishandled pass quickly comes back out.
Good hustle by Nandy to get back into that play.
Nandor gives Keeney the wave to go get it. Nandor's going to push it a little too hard ahead. This one's going to make its way down for an icing. Stop the clock at 6:46 left in the second.
You know, Matt, as I watch this, what I'm really impressed by is you're Omaha, you're up 7-0. You can take your foot off the gas at any time. We've continued to compete hard. I was just thinking about that as I watched Vinny Heater on that last chip, really working along the wall, really grinding it out. The guys are still competing, and that's great to see, I would think, from the coach's perspective.
Likely what we're assuming here is that the boys aren't allowed to shoot after one or two passes. But what you're saying, Dave, is their momentum and their feet are not stopping. Right. They want to maintain control of the puck, and they're going to work on their passing game more than ever because they know they're not allowed to shoot right off the bat.
Yeah.
So this is where really good technique comes in on gameplay. This is going to be a great practice because Sharks are a pretty good team.
Yeah. And you got to stay sharp because you got Minnetonka coming up this afternoon, and you'll know they'll be ready.
A lob out of the zone, picked up by Sharks at neutral zone territory. They gain offense. Shot blocked by Rosie. It's made its way through a screening Bear, and Rosie made a good blocker save, even though he probably had trouble seeing that one. Court right, trying to thread the needle, couldn't get through 2 attackers. Sharks bat it back to Omaha. Keeney picks it up, cross ice to Bear. Nice pass with the feet moving. Bear gets territory, circling behind the net. Gillette tries to feed the middle, bouncing puck in front, loose in the slot. Sharks end up with it. Blocked by Bear, makes its way deep behind the goal line. Goalie comes off to the side, freezes the puck with 5:50 left in the second period. 7-0. Your Mavs still in control of the game. And Sharks with a non-goaltending backup goalie here, just substituting for an injury that they suffered early
Good
in the
scramble
tournament.
there. I mean, you lose the puck, you just try to make yourself big. That's what he did. The puck ended up underneath him. That was a good play.
Jack Davis, Roman Stonebreaker, and Charlie Patera out there. Ike over to Boss. Boss from the top of the circle fires wide of the net. Ike steps up from the blue line, pinches it along the short wall. Sharks are able to get it out of the zone. Sharks outnumbered by defense. Nice step up by the Boss. Pulls his man off the puck before they gain territory. Center ice pass. We'll have a penalty coming up.
I didn't see an arm up.
No,
we have an injured player.
We've got Boss. He kind of slid head first into the board.
Yeah, and he had a player on top of him.
Getting his way up slowly. He's holding his shoulder. He had a player on top of him as they slid pretty hard into the boards. He's shaking it off, and he's making his way to the bench, hit his shoulder and his head on the boards as a player landed on top of him. But it was a good play. He stepped up at the blue line and foiled an offensive charge for the Sharks, but sacrificed the body to do so. So Boss will go to the bench. I guarantee we'll be seeing him back out on the ice. But Fleming and Nandor now out there on defense. Fleming, crisscross, bounces off the skates of Jack Davis, ends up back on his tape. Boys go in onside. Oh, just offsides.
Stoney wanted to get himself onside, but he ran into Jack, who was coming right down.
Forcing the guys to pass can jumble them up a little bit, right? Now you're looking for more passes, and we're getting into each other's way, but these kind of mistakes are the good mistakes to make. Like, these are good communication skills that the boys are learning. Sharks get a shot on net. Loose puck trickled behind Rosie. Another shot. Loose puck in the crease, cleared out by Nandor. A lot of attempts here by the Sharks in the last couple seconds. Pinch to the short wall. Sharks fire from the circle, wide of the net. Nandor quick hustles to it in the corner. Puck couldn't quite get out of the zone. Stoney's going to skate it out this time. Center ice. Pops it gently deep into Sharks territory. Sharks ringing around the horn. Nandor's going to pinch the ref and not the puck, so Sharks are going to get it out of their own territory. Poke check at the blue line. Patera tried to stand it up. Gets it snapped off of his tape. Nandor goes cross to Fleming. Fleming cross to...
Nice pass.
Heater's moving his feet. Gets through some chops, trickles one on the net. A goalie save, pushes it to the corner. Turned over at the wall by T-Square. Sharks pick up the loose puck in their slot. Centering pass, intercepted by Nandor. Pushed back up to T-Square. T-Squared runs over one to gain offensive territory. Deflected into the corner behind the goal line. Stick handling to get away. Pushes it back to Fleming. Mishandles the pass. A foot race for a loose puck back in Mav territory. Fleming gets there first. The juke to avoid the attacker. Lots of momentum as he's getting out of his zone. A 3-on-3 the other way. Fleming stops at the short wall. Centers it over to T-Squared. Fires. Deflected. Back out to the circle. Fleming feeds it back to Nandor. Nandor to T-Squared. Centering. One-timer. Couldn't quite get off by Vinny Heater. Fleming picks it up in the corner. Feeds it around behind the T-Squared. T-Squared to the middle. Slap back to the short wall to T-Squared. T-Squared makes it back up to his feet. Loose puck, top of the circle. Intercepted by Schneider from the dot. Fires off the side of the net. Schneider gets to his own rebound. A little help from T-Squared in the corner. Dodges one attacker. Feed across the middle Over to Nandor. Nandor circles at the blue line. Soft dump deep into the corner. Vinny Heater helps it around the horn to T-squared. T-squared. Back out to Schneider. Pass got tipped. Comes loose out to Maverick territory. Nandor's first to it. Hits the break. Soft touch over to Fleming. Fleming. Soft touch up to Tremaine. Offsides was Will Allers, who's kicking himself for just a half a step.
I think
bad
Will
timing.
thought that was going to be a dump in. I think he thought Tremaine was going to dump it in, and then he was getting ready to go in and chase. And instead, Tremaine decided to take it in, and that just threw everybody offside.
I like seeing these mistakes on the attack, right? This is going to make this offense much more sharper. Neutral zone face-off drop with 2:30 left in the second period. 7-0. Mavericks in the lead. Icing on the Sharks is going to stop it again and bring a face-off back down to Shark territory. This has turned into a friendly game, but even though it's still competitive tournament play, the Sharks lost their goalie in the first period. If you weren't around to hear the mishap, Sharks goalie has been dealing with an injury ailment from the first game, and he wasn't able to finish, so they've got a substitute player that geared up with goalie pads and is doing the best he can in the net for the Meremec Sharks, and Mavericks able to just dominate this game with a lead of 7-0. Allers to the middle. Sturba's there, swatting at it. Couldn't quite get the second rebound. Now he gets a third that comes out to the front. Now a fourth. Allers, backhand. Another big goalie save. Holy cow. Key forced to get it back in his own zone, but that one's going to be an icing.
We need your dad here. Holy moly, what a goalie.
That's for sure.
He made some great saves there. Wow.
A round of applause from all the fans here for the substitute goalie that's standing on his head there and making about 5 saves in about 3 seconds. Way to go, Sharks. Tendy. A minute 57 left in the second. 7-0 Mavs in the lead. Ike and the boss on D. Stoney wins it back to Courtright, Courtright pushes it back to Boss. Ike over to Taz. Taz feeds the middle, disrupted by Sharks. Stoney trying to stall it out, and he does. Turnover. Mavs now in the zone again. Stoney batted into the corner, gets his own. Circling around the horn, hits the brakes, trying to dodge an attacker. He's got a second for a skating lane, pushes it back to Boss. Boss keeps it in, bounces it deep into Taz. Taz, nice circling.
Nice.
Behind the net, tried to get it out to Courtright. Had an attacker, fed it out to Boss. Boss holds the line, fires, big goalie save. Bobbles his footing and then was able to fall on it. A little unconventional, but great job tending the net.
Yeah.
7-0, minute 15 left in the second. Mavs maintaining control of this game.
Matt, I'm gonna. The visual is probably weird for anybody who's watching from outside in the lobby, or maybe somebody who just popped in on this game, trying to figure out why. There's a goal by Charlie Patera.
No. Coaches are waving it, saying you didn't do enough passing before you shot the puck.
Well, it'll count, but that was Charlie with the goal, and the face-off win was probably by Paxson.
So, if you haven't heard us chatting about how the Omaha coaches are trying to reel in this game, is because they're making the Mavericks pass it 1 or 2 times before they can shoot the puck.
Well, the point that I was going to make, Matt, is people are probably trying to figure out why the opposing goaltender is getting high-fived when he makes a save by the team that's shooting on him. They're probably trying to figure that out. Maybe obviously not understanding what the situation is.
Mavericks doing a terrific job of cycling the puck and moving and controlling it in the offensive zone. That's exactly what the coaches are trying to coach here. They have to pass it 1 to 2 times before they can shoot on net. Nice feed to Schneider. Schneider backhand through the slot. Loose puck to the opposite corner. Patera picks it up. Patera gets it kicked loose all the way down into Maverick territory. The icing goes up. 23 seconds left in the second period. 8-0 Mavs in the lead. Line change for both teams.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, man, you look at the shots, 29-7. That's an indicator of which way the ice has been tilted in this game. And backup goaltender or not, the Mavericks have been doing everything they wanted to do. They've been dominating as far as time of possession, about having it in the offensive zone. They haven't really given up a lot of good scoring opportunities. This is maybe with the change of the score a little bit closer, this is the way this game was probably going to go, even if the starting goaltender had been able to go the whole way.
Agreed. Little neutral zone regrouping here as Sharks, some body here. Sharks do a good job of attacking, being physical. The buzzer ticks. The fans on both sides of the ice just cheering for some good competitive hockey here. This is getting to be just good aggressive play. Rosie coming out to meet his opponent's goalie along with the Beast. Hopefully, this has just turned into a great, fun hockey game. And Mavericks are clearly dominating due to a backup goalie situation here. And it's unfortunate because this was the only other undefeated team. This was our team to beat. And we want just competitive, fun hockey.
Right.
And we don't want these injuries. And especially for a goalie to get injured, that's the worst thing for a team to experience. So this was our team to beat. Not to say we're not going to have hard competition through the rest of this tournament, but this was currently the only other undefeated team this weekend.
Right.
And now they've turned into the weak link with their Achilles heel getting taken out from them.
Right.
And now Mavs are going to get an easy win here, unfortunately, because hopefully they don't take this playing style to the next game and have an easy win in our scrimmage, making them play down.
Well, I don't know if you could see on the broadcast anyway, but their coach from Meremec was really giving it to their guys, saying, look, we're not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, and they're dominating us. We're not supposed to use the fact that we have a backup goaltender as an excuse. We've got to play our game, and that was really the point he was trying to make here with a period to go. This will be a fast-moving period, too. With an 8-0 lead, this is going to be a running clock.
You saw some pushing and shoving at the end, so I guarantee Coach is doing everything he can for this Meremec team to keep themselves on the gas. Meremec's goalie makes another bouncing puck save there to freeze the play in Sharks territory.
Those shots on goal, I'm not sure if we're quite true as far as that number of 30, because that was not a shot on goal, but he was given a credit for it. It was, had he not touched it, it could have continued to go wide. It was not a actual scoring chance. So 30-7 are what the shots say on the scoreboard. It's probably a little less than that, yeah.
Face-off win back to Boss. Boss goes cross-ice to T-squared. Nice backhanding move to dodge one player. Ike steps up, keeps it to the middle. Tried to feed Allers on the 1T. Intercepted by Sharks. They take it out of their zone. Nice back check by Allers. Stirs it up at their blue line. Intercepted by Boss. Pass gently up to Allers. Caught in some skates. Cross-ice. Jumbled up in some other skates. T-squared gains territory. T-squared pinched at the short wall by two Sharks. Keeping the puck going deep into the zone. Tried to get it towards the net. Goes behind. T-squared fed it out to the middle. A bobbles one. A shot from Stoney goes right through the crease and across the side of the net. Mavs reset. Gain territory. Sharks pick up the loose puck on the short wall. Comes out to half ice. Ike loses his footing. Sharks mishandle a dump in and turn it over to Ike this time. Ike turns, reverses it. Sharks pick it up top of the circle. Kicked aside by Stoney. Dangerous play. Ike now going to carry it through some neutral zone traffic. Forced to the wall. Now the dot. Gets to the slot. Doesn't take the shot. He knows he's got to pass first. Dumps it in and goes for the change. Oh, big body on, was that Tremaine now that's out there?
No, Stoney got taken down.
Stoney got taken down in the corner. Tremaine came in to help. Puck goes around to the other side. Now comes over to Tremaine. Top of the circle, fires. Big save by the Sharks. Kenny. Whoa, big hit after the whistle. Sharks take down Stoney. No penalty on the play.
Yeah, he's all right.
We're going to take a moment to thank some of our sponsors here. And I'm going to start with Joe Challen Tax Service. Thank you, Grandpa Joe, for all your support of the Omaha Mavericks. And thank you, Nebraska Electric Power Sports, for selling fun and supporting the Omaha Mavericks as well. Thank you, Charleston Homes, for being voted #1 Best of Omaha in 2025 and supporting the Mavs. And thank you, Cottonwood Salon and Suites, for everything you do supporting the OMA Jr Mavs. Sharks dump the puck in the zone. Mavericks take back control. Fleming fires it out. Off the feet of Sturba. Sturba regains control. 2-on-2 developing here with a back checker. Tremaine, was able to dump it on net.
Yep.
The goalie made an easy save. We got a running clock here as the Mavs are up 8-0 here in the third period. So the what do they call that rule? They call it the
I don't know.
I forget the term.
Sportsmanship rule.
Mercy rule.
Mercy rule.
Mercy rule of a running clock when a team is over 5 goals ahead. But even more so, the Mavs are practicing 2 passes before a shot. They're keeping the puck currently in the offensive zone. Puck trickled to the short wall. Mavs hustle to a loose puck top of the blue line. Taz picks it up, dumps it in. Sharks get there behind their own net. Circle. Bounce it out to the blue line. It goes off a Sharks player to Schneider. Schneider tried to backhand it to Keeney. Sharks intercept. Gain offensive territory. Poke checked at the top of the circle. Courtright picks it up. Courtright leaves it for Taz. Taz loses it in his feet. Runs into 2 players as the puck gets batted back to Maverick territory, and Keeney resets in his own. Keeney to the Bear. Bear zigzagging through the neutral zone. Now the top of the circle. Now below the goal line, fires off the side of the net. Courtright can't keep it in deep. Sharks now skating it out of their zone. Allers on defense. Forces his man to the corner. They try to get it out to the middle. Deflected back behind. Sharks circle around the offensive zone on the short wall. Mavs get a partial line change. Puck comes loose out to neutral zone. Jack Davis and Patera battle at the center ice. Puck goes loose back to Sharks' blue line. Sharks go cross ice with it. Bounces it over everybody to Keeney. Keeney can't get the knuckle puck under control. Bobbled the pass. Still stalled out at the blue line. He's going to regain control. Take a look. Oh, getting bullied off the puck and going through the slot. A dangerous area. Keeney passes it now up to Patera. Patera bodied from behind. Traffic in front. Brings it around the corner, chasing his own dump in. Jack Davis pinches it as it comes back around. Allers the 1-T from the top of the circle, deflected back behind. Patera picks it up in the corner, through some legs. Jack Davis fires wide of the net. Allers feeds it back to the middle. The goalie made a save. Bounced off the boards to Ike. Ike, stick handling through the middle, feeds it back to the Boss. Boss has to get past 1, can't get past 2. Sharks get it out. No! Now they get it out of the zone. Ike back to retrieve at his own blue line. Goes cross ice to Patera. Patera, 1-on-1, battling along the short wall. Jack Davis tried to pull it off the wall, loses it in his feet. Sharks get it coming back the other way. Crosses blue line. Stoney picks it up. Stoney dumps it back in deep behind the net. Stoney picks it up. Stoney with momentum feeds it back to the Boss. Boss, soft touch, tried to find Stoney, and they're playing ping pong there on the blue line and circle. As Sharks finally get it out of their zone. Stalls out at the red line. Jack Davis is back to collect. Backhands it to Ike. Ike, 1 touch up to Patera. Patera, 2-on-2 with Stoney on his left. Top of the circle, stick handles to the slot. Gets it swatted off of his tape. Stoney tried to feed it back to defense. Boss recollects in the neutral zone over to Ike. Ike takes a look from his own blue line, hits the brakes to avoid an attacker. Gives himself another second. Goes cross ice to the Boss. Boss steps up, dodges 1, gets pinched by a second. Puck trickles back into Mav territory. Mavs pick it up. Ike changes direction to the Boss. Boss, he's going to step up and start skating. Lots of defense. He's going to thread the needle. Chase the puck loose into Shark territory. Round the horn to T-squared. T-squared from the boards, making his way to the middle, gets stood up, loses control of the puck. Boss steps up, fires 1 towards the net, deflected. Goalie made the save. Running clock, I'm going to call it 5:15 left in the game with Mavs in an 8-0 lead.
Man, you know what's really been impressive to me watching this game transpire, and some of it has been dictated by the fact that it is an 8-0 game. Our neutral zone regroups have been really, really good. The defensemen have done a nice job going D to D and getting the puck up ice without having to go deep into our own zone.
Fleming pushes it up the wall to Sturba. Schneider's in the middle, fires, and hits the top shelf, 9-0. 2 passes and a shot. That's what the coach said you have to do because of this handicap that the Sharks are dealing with of a player putting on goalie pads and coming in as a backup goaltender here. That's why the score is 9-0.
Oh, there's Paxson. That was Paxson from Sturbs and Fleming, I believe.
Correct, yes. Hold back and forth in the neutral zone. Schneider drops it back for Nandor. Nandor goes over to Fleming. Fleming goes back cross ice. Through a bunch of sticks and skates and then gets dumped in hard by Sharks. Fleming picks it up behind his goal line, changes direction to give himself a second. Goes hard cross ice. Out to Tremaine. This one bounces off the wall. Goalie comes out dangerously to play it.
Good play,
but a good move. Gets the puck out of the zone and bobbled onto the Sharks bench. That stalls the play out on the running clock. I'm going to call it 3:40 left in the game, even though we got a running clock here for the mercy rule with Mavs having a 9-0 lead.
Now, we talked about the guys staying on task. The feet have been moving this whole game, which has really been impressive as well. The guys have not slowed down.
Air dumps it in. Taz on the forecheck. Allers picks it up on the short wall. Got it off of his tape. He's going to fire it back to Bear. Bear gets it inked through his skates, and he's going to force to regroup back in his own zone. Bear circles at his own blue line. Soft touch up to Allers. Allers has got one. Fires. Blocker save to the corner. Taz tries to pinch. Comes back out to the blue line. Bear hits the brakes on that puck. Sends it back in deep to Allers. Allers pinched behind the goal line. Puck comes out to Courtright on the short wall. Courtright tries to feed Allers in the slot. Allers goes to work behind the goal line and gets it taken off of his tape. Sharks are gaining momentum through the neutral zone here. Lots of good defense back for the Mavs. Force him to the corner. A centering feed. Kicked back to the side by Bear. Then gently passed ahead to Allers. Allers a 2-on-1. He's got Courtright. Soft touch over to Courtright. Fires and scores. The back and forth from Allers to Courtright makes this game 10-0 with 2:20 left in the game. Coaches.
Defenseman down here who gave it to Will. Shoot, was that Bear?
That would have been Bear to Allers to yes. Patera, Jack Davis, and Roman Stonebreaker out there on offense now as we look at 2 minutes left in this game. Puck comes back loose into Mavs territory. Boss hustles to it, bounces it off the glass. Took a bad bounce off the glass back to the slot, but Ike was there. Ike gaining momentum through the neutral zone. Lots of skaters in the way. He gets his stick lifted. Puck glides into the goalie's glove, and so did Wyatt Ike. Ike, no tripping on the call. He got an aggressive stick lift.
You could have called a hook there, I think.
Nonetheless, face off in Shark territory. Running clock has, I'm going to call it, 1:20 left in the game. 10-0, Mavs in the lead. Roman squares off. Sharks win the face off. Pop it out of the zone. Loose into Mav territory. Ike's the first one to it. Ike hit the brakes. Gets around one attacker. Soft touch up to Jack Davis. Jack pokes it ahead out of the zone. Sharks fire it back towards Mav territory. Boss forced to hustle to it on the short wall. Rings it hard around the horn to Ike. Ike pushes it ahead to Jack. Jack, centering pass. Bobbled up to offsides, no. Right? But Patera, now Stoney tried to go off the side of the net. Still chasing the puck around the short wall. Sharks pick it up. Gets it popped out to neutral zone as 30 seconds now ring off the remaining time in this game. Puck comes into offensive territory for Sharks again. Patera in the corner. Goes behind the net. Still looking, centering, fired. And a big save by the Sharks. Tendy.
Yep.
Likely going to be the last shot on goal as we're looking at a running clock with less than 10 seconds left now. 7-6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Mavs pull off a huge win here, 10-0 against the handicapped Meremec Sharks, who ended up having to put a player in goalie pads in the net for their second game due to an injury that they suffered on their goaltender. Let's hear it for the Omaha Mavericks, and pulling off a big win here, doing it in good sportsmanship fashion. Here comes the handshakes at center ice. Mavericks were willing to loan the Beast, their backup goalie, to the Meremec Sharks just so that they could have a friendly game of hockey.
Tournament committee stepped in, said that that's not copacetic. They had to use one of their own folks, so they did. And you know what? He did a marvelous job, really, to be put in that situation. And to make some of the saves that he did, he really did a terrific job. And hugs from the Junior Mavericks to the backup goalie. And Rosie over there to say, hey, you know what? You did pretty well there, bud, for a guy who's not normally a goalie. So good work.
So now that makes the Mavericks the only undefeated team in this tournament.
Now 2-0.
They still have some challengers to face here, so definitely with this practice round through this morning's game, we've got a game at 3:45 against a Minnetonka, Minnesota team that has amongst the highest penalty minutes in this tournament. They're going to be a tough game, and Mavs need to make sure that they're doing a heck of a good job of not taking this kind of a gentle, friendly scrimmage play into their next game. They need to make sure that they put full speed on the gas within the rest of this tournament if they want to come home with a goal.
Well, and we talked about, it's a 10-0 win. We talked about goal differential. It maxes out, it usually maxes out around 5, so the other 5 goals aren't going to make any difference. Again, I like the way the guys continue to play hard. Sometimes guys can be motivated by points. The coaches made sure that we stuck to our system. They made passes, created opportunities, and worked hard coming back. I mean, they didn't give the Sharks a lot of scoring opportunities, and that was the key too, and that'll be important in the other 2 pool play games that we've still got ahead of us.
Maverick coach is going to be pleased with that style of win and making sure that the Mavericks kept their feet moving, just like you were saying. We're going to take an opportunity to thank our sponsors for the season. First and foremost, I'm going to start with Cottonwood Salon and Swedes. Thank you, Aunt Jessie, for sponsoring the Omaha Mavericks. And that's probably the least of what you do because there's a lot of effort in time, volunteering, and support that you give this Maverick team that we're just as grateful for. And thank you, Aunt Jessie. Thank you, Charleston Homes, for your support of the Omaha Junior Mavericks. You are Omaha's best home builder for 2025, and we appreciate your support this season. Thank you, Nebraska Electric Power Sports. You sell fun, and we appreciate greatly your support of this Maverick team. Also, thank you, Grandpa Joe Chalin Tech Services, your tremendous support of your players, your donation for sponsoring the Junior Mavericks team this year. So we're going to regroup and have game 2 at 3:45 against the Minnetonka Skippers. Here at the outdoor rink.
Yes.
This afternoon on what started out to be a brisk but a sunny day. It's going to be another nice day here. Unseasonable winter in Minnesota here. All the snow piles are melting, and it was sunny when we got here, so we're expecting to have a fun outdoor game against Minnetonka Skippers. And Mavs now the only undefeated team going in the number 1 spot, 2-0 to game 3 at 3:45. Thank you everybody for watching, your support of the Omaha Junior Mavericks. We'll see you at 3:45. Thank you.